Everyone, and welcome to PBTV in our new series setup where we hope to invite in Airsoft's biggest brands, players, everyone that just feels interested to really. Sit them down, have a little chat about what's going on with them in Airsoft and various brands. We've got maybe new Pro or things like that coming in the future, but today we have very special guests, the creators and builders of Bolster Armouries. So here we have Mark and Jake.
Hello.
So these are the two minds behind Bolster Armories. We have multiple different platforms that have been built by these guys. You can see I've got a few behind me, and we've got the longer rifle behind Jake and Mark. Mark's been sort of the spearhead behind the M4s. Jake has been the spearhead behind the pistol brands. It's various specialities between them, but we will go much deeper into that. If you have any questions, they've been on the website for a few hours now, and we can see that people are definitely very, very interested in them. The viewers are skyrocketing beyond our wildest dreams, so we do really, really appreciate that. And if you want more information on them, the specs on the website could not be more detailed. But I'll let Mark and Jake introduce them a little bit and give us a little bit of a spiel about where did Bolster Armouries come from, and what do you believe the impact it will be on Airsoft? But first, the big one that people might want to know is why.
Why? Well, we wanted to put out the best airsoft gun out there. I know lots of people want to do this.
Yeah.
But for us, there's always the little niggles here and there, and the sort of the push behind it was to give someone an airsoft rifle that was pre-upgraded, that give them the quality service and package behind it that would look after them all the way through the ownership of this gun.
Yeah. So it's not just pick the rifle that you want, and we get this a lot with the live streams we do daily. Someone will pick up any rifle, even the Crytac themselves, and go, how can I make this better? Yeah. And the idea of this is you get this out of the box and you can't, really?
Yeah, well, we've done it we've vigorously tested lots of parts. Just behind Stu is the prototype gun, which is my own personal gun, which we have run every series of pistons that we've tried, every series of gears, motors, barrels, hops, everything from Pro-Win, Max, Laylax, everything. We've tried all the different products to find the one which we think performs the best.
So the SBR that I've got behind me isn't the exact one that is on the website. So as Mark was saying, this is his personal one. You can see this the device on the front is slightly different to the one that was on it. And again, this has been the workhorse of adding a part, testing it, seeing what changes, taking it apart, putting it back together, taking it apart, putting it back together, and making sure that every part that is then in the final product, and the rifle that's behind them is one of the final products. And again, the accessories that are just they're there for sure, really, just so that you can get an idea of how these things can be built up. And you're saying that you've done prototyping, testing, and everything like that. Obviously, you guys working in the workshop, did a lot of that come from platforms that are already on the market that you see come back a lot? Maybe not what would you replace in other stuff, but did you see what was failing on things and think, right, these are the definite parts that need changing?
Yeah, this is what we looked at. I mean, going forward, everyone wants a MOSFET ETU in there now. I mean, obviously there's a lower range, your Cyma ranges, things like that, as your beginner guns, but as you go up, people are wanting the electronic triggers. Yeah. We saw motor failures in certain guns. Even in this one, we started out with the ASG CNC range, and we found that with the active braking, pre-cocking, all this, once it got to 130,000 rounds, that this motor were giving up.
Yeah. And that's on this one.
That's on that one.
You can see that some of the other parts that are probably in this, obviously the motor took 120,000 rounds, been changed to something else. You've then got to almost restart that process again.
Yes, we had to do it again.
So there's then some parts in this that have never failed.
Oh, they've never failed.
So obviously they don't take much stress, but putting that many rounds through a platform not in a workshop environment, because obviously you've had this at proving grounds, you've had this at various sites, because putting it through a chrono or anything like that, it's testing the functionality, but it's not testing the gun.
Yeah.
So you running around with it, stress testing it, changing it from semi to full auto, that's how you test that many rounds.
Yeah.
So there's some parts in this that have just never come out and just been golden
the gears,
from...
the Crytek gears themselves.
Yeah.
We tried Promi gears, we had some failure with some bevels, things like that. Then we went back to the Crytek gear set, and to be honest, this gear set is solid.
Yeah.
That gun now, with the setup that's in it, which is in all the other guns now, has done 190,000 rounds.
Post the motor change.
This is post the motor
with the new, and this is with the warhead motor.
This is with the warhead motor in it, and still going strong.
And that's the last time you checked, and I took this for a little bit of a test fire,
You've
and I
taken
put
that.
at least another 10 mags through it.
Yep.
So there's another 1,000 rounds, and again, testing the full auto, testing the semi-auto, testing, like, trying to do the thing that you expect a player to do, sort of double tapping, triple tapping, not fully pulling the trigger and waiting for the shot, trying to catch the gear system out.
One thing
a
I
little
have
bit.
done is as well, if anyone in patrol base has been going to a game day, I've said, here, take it.
And it gets more
Take
testing in
it out. I want you to show me where it can fail.
Yeah.
And when I see if it's going to, then that's something we'll look at. But yeah, the bearings, the gears, the hop unit, the barrel, the hop rubber, the nub, all these things, the piston, the spring, cylinder head, piston head, all these things are solid. They're the things that have been in there. So they've pretty much nearly just short of probably 400,000 rounds put through them. Yeah.
Which is very, very impressive for what is essentially a toy at the end of the day.
Yeah, it is,
But yeah, so, and again, coming to the Crytek Barrett itself, they are very pretty platforms. A lot of people will say it's just another M4. But at the end of the day, what drew you to the Crytek originally as the sort of baseline for these? I mean, there's many different things.
Well, there's all
there,
different ones, but the Crytek, what I found is a very solid exterior.
Yeah.
Very well built. You never see any cracked upper, lower receivers, broken handguards, things like that. The gearbox inside is amazing. Many brands have actually copied it. G&G have got a very similar gearbox. And it's just an all-round solid gearbox, just well made.
Yeah. So again, some of the features that we'll look at on the Onyx. So the Bolster Armouries is the overall brand name, and those that have been delving deep into the website have seen all the different names. So we do have the Onyx as the M4, and we've got the Onyx SBR, which is the shorter one, and then we've got the Onyx rifle behind Mark and Jake. Coming on to the high cappers, we have the Quartz, which is the black and gold one that is currently the only one that has an optic. So they've thrown the vector optics on that. The stippling on here is done by Jake. You've done that yourself. So
all
again,
done by hand.
some of the patterns and things like that. Jake is a very competent IPSC shooter. So again, this comes from sort of time doing the job that these are designed to do. So the stippling are, yes, they look really pretty and they do look absolutely gorgeous with patterns and stuff, but there is a method behind it. So when it comes to, say, the pistols, the grips, you've got the Moonstone that's got the pre-done metalwork on there. It's going to fall over now, I can tell you. And then you've got the plastic stippled ones. A little bit behind what gives you pros and cons between the two builds. Obviously, there's different categories of types of IPSC and things like that. Yeah. And as much as I go on about that, you don't have to use them for IPSC. You can skirmish with these if you really, really want to.
Yep,
but
I skirmish with them.
So you skirmish with yours, but there are different categories that these will fit into.
Yeah.
And is that a little bit of the builds behind them? You've got the open and the classic and things like that.
Yeah, so we've got the Moonstone and the
that's the
Obsidian, which isn't here. They're all based on a standard vision gun. So in IPSC they have to fit in a box which has specific diameters. So those pistols can all fit inside the box, which means they can be used in standard division.
So it's not necessarily what's on it.
Yeah,
it has to physically fit in
actually physically.
So it's a physical size thing rather than its capabilities.
Yeah, so they've got the correct bases.
So I've seen sometimes you get optics on sideways and things like that. So standard doesn't mean you can't run optics?
You
It's
can't
just
run optics in standard, but,
Right.
So it's got the fibre sights, which is just what I personally prefer on my if I run a standard gun. All the triggers across all the builds are same trigger pull, same length. It's how I've got it set up. How I have it set up.
Yeah.
Because I like a really light trigger pull. Nice and
But again,
crisp.
the people that are most likely going to be interested in these understand how they're going to work, they're going to understand what to do with them. And again, like you mentioned the obsidian, we've got the limited moonstone here, there's a standard moonstone and there's a quartz. So do these 4 fit in 4 different categories, or have you just gone for maybe an open and a standard?
I've just done an open standard for now.
Yeah.
The open one is based off another high capper I have, which is like the prototype version of that. So it's the same, but cost of the lot of availability of parts. The slide's different. It's got a different mag well, but overall it's the same gun.
Yeah.
Run it same red dot as well. The frenzies I run them on. My main.
They're really impressive. The Vector Optics red dots. If you're interested in anything like for pistols, even for your ARs, anything like that, the Vector Optics have proven just to be absolutely incredible bits of kit. A really nice, clean, small dot. Which, when it comes to pistol shooting, is essentially you're wanting as small as bright as a dot as possible, because your targets, you could quite easily, if you've got a wrong dot, you could quite easily cover your entire target at certain distances. So when it comes to the Onyx, obviously these were built off the Crytek Barrett. Obviously these are high cappers, but it's not, you haven't got a high capper and then added bits to it. These are complete from scratch builds.
So the only one which has the base gun is the quartz, which is the open one.
That's this one.
Yep. So your actual TM parts are the frame, the grip, and the mag release.
Mag release on that side, yeah.
Yep. So everything else on that is full Airsoft Masterpiece, Cow, JLP. We've got Vector, Maple Leaf as well for the barrels.
And obviously you can't see it when it's hung up, but it does have the extended charging handle on there, and the gold trim. They're matching the muzzle brake to the gold match stylings is very, very cool. A few little bits about the high cappers. So they're going to sit there very, very nicely. Because obviously these are designed for double tapping, the whole double alpha thing like that. They don't lock back. So people that haven't dipped their toe into IPSC and things like that, the idea is not only to be as fast as possible, but to be as accurate as possible. So that's a little bit of probably the ethos behind these. I'm not an IPSC shooter. I've never really got into it. But what's the reasoning behind the non-bolt stop part of it, or the short stroking? Is it just to get the second round out, or is it because you don't want to hook it up and maybe bolt stop mid run?
Comes down to speed at the end of the day. It's another action you've got to learn. You've got to practice your bolt. If you want to have a bolt stop, you need to be able to constantly be able to learn how to get it every shot perfect, clean as well. Without having the stop feature, you're it's basically eliminating a factor if something can go wrong.
Right.
Short strokes as well, so it brings the speed of the cycling up and match with the 120 recoil springs as well. It's just what I've got it in all my high cappers. It's just what I run.
Yeah.
It's the best I've personally found for any high capper builds.
So bringing that into your sort of world of IPSC, how far have you gone in that, competing wise, things like that?
I've competed at the European Championships. I've competed at quite a few level 3 competitions as well. We've also done the multi-gun syndicate, which is run the Great British Championships, which I won. So that was pistol, rifle and shotgun, which is always a fantastic to use a shell ejecting shotgun.
Yeah. So it's a little bit of that experience has come.
Yeah.
And for those that are sort of looking at these and going, where can they fit in my sort of world when it comes to airsofting? A lot of high capper users out there are quite happily to run a high capper indoors, outdoors, CQB. You want to throw a HPA drum magazine. Some people are going to cry if you do it, but it is perfectly doable. And these are going to perfectly run outdoors. Range, accuracy, sort of rate of fire and everything like that. You're going to be able to compete outdoors with them totally fine. It's not just for fit for purpose for IPSC, you reckon?
I've done a SIN and I run an M4 mag adapter on my personal high cappers.
Yeah.
Same build, same nozzle, springs, etc. and it's just fantastic. I've I sort of lend it out every now and again when I go to sites, see what people think, and they're always like, so smooth, the trigger pull, and
it's all down to get
yeah.
It's that second round that can sort of not you can one shot and things like that, but if with a high capper you've got that sort of muscle memory of tap 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 tap, and if you've got a drum mag on it, you're just running around all day and having as much fun as possible. So one of the big shouting points that we have spoken about just before the stream about the Bolster Armouries, about what this also brings to Airsoft as well, is you have put a very hefty warranty on these, not just on the M4 but the high cappers as well. What draw you to push it to 24 months? Is it the sort of R&D that you've put into it, the confidence in it?
The confidence is one of the factors with the testing, because the amount of testing that the rifle has had, basically it means that I'm confident that a normal skirmisher or even a heavy use skirmisher will perform for them all the way. So I'm happy to go 24 months on that, or 200,000 rounds,
which makes sense.
Makes sense. It's basically that's with 200,000 rounds, that gives you 1,333 mags in 2 years.
In a year. So you've got to put a fair few rounds through it every week, not just going, most airsofters are going every couple of weeks, every 3 weeks or so like that. Even if you're going like full weekenders, you're putting a lot of rounds through this to get the round count.
56, just over 56 mags a month. Yeah. Of 100, and that we did it on the PTS, so 160 rounds mags.
Yeah.
So don't think that we've capped it, because we haven't.
Yes. We don't want someone grabbing one and just dumping
basically what it is so we just don't want to stop someone just go like that and just hold the trigger down.
But if you're using this week in, week out, you put in 20-30 mags through it a week, you're probably still not going to hit that round count.
No.
If you're going to weekend events 3 times a month, you might hit it, because you might go through a 4. But again, it's a sensible process.
Are you going to go every? Some people do.
Some people do.
If you're going to go every weekend,
it's totally fine. And we've brought a sample out. So in the box, you will get one of these. So this is your service record and warranty book. So inside here, you will have your serial numbered platform. So your serial number can go in there, and each the high cappers and the ARs are going to be serial numbered. And then at the back, you do have your service record. So very similar to your car or anything like that. You've got a service that's very hard to see with the lighting on that, but you can see there's little boxes in there that we can fill out what's been done, etc. And there's a little box that says free.
Yes. So we have, within the first 6 months of you having your rifle, you can get in touch with us via our email address, and you can we will come, we'll collect the gun, have it back, we'll give it a full service. If there's any wear or tear or anything that untoward, we will replace the part.
And just above the serial number part, there are your contact details. So if you don't have to troll the website or anything like that, just get your service book. There is a phone number and an email address that will go directly to
us,
to them. Yep. So you're not going through the call system or anything. So you have a little bit of a VIP treatment with this system. As they're saying, they'll collect it, return it. There's no min-max round count on that free service. So if you
just within your first 6 months,
first 6 months, just get your rounds down range. Make sure you're happy with it, and you're like, I'm not going airsofting for a couple of weeks. I'll put it in, get it back, because I know I'm going to a big event in a bit. And you can just choose when you want that done. Which is very, very cool. There's a lot of information in this book, the sort of the service and everything, the how to service, the contact details, and what is covered by the consumable parts and things like that, things that are warranted. And obviously, because it is a 24-month warranty, there is obviously going to be things that void it if someone delves into their own platforms and starts changing parts. Unfortunately, that will void it. But this is a very cool little book. I think people are very happy with that, and it looks cool with the colours. But we do have some viewer questions, so if we want to start throwing them up, we will see what the viewers are asking. PBTV Pete, would you run the pistol on black gas? Yeah, so obviously all the high cappers are green gas. There's various different powers and everything like that. Are these tuned to certain weight BBs, gas, etc.? And why not CO2?
Personally, I would stick to between a 2.5, 2.8, 3 on the BBs. Just what I use, just what I prefer. So you're not going too expensive either with the 3.2s. You're not going to really gain anything from that.
Yeah.
Gas wise, HPA is fine. I've used HPA around 80, 90 psi, and then gas, I use black in mine. I've used black, Garda black, 4.0, 3.0, V12. V12, fantastic gas for it.
Yeah.
That's what I've been testing on. That's just great. Get a good solid power from it.
I think someone asked me, and because I'm not an IPSC shooter, but my answer to it was CO2 can't be topped up between runs. So if you have a CO2 platform, at some point it's going to run out on you. So is that the reason why everyone runs the green gas? As soon as you finish a run, you can top it up and you're good to go. Whereas you go skirmishing, you're not really fussed when you're using HPA or CO2. So these are built off the green gas platform mainly because it's an IPSC thing.
Yeah, because with the green gas, I can run a stage, I can top all my mags up afterwards, and I can get them warming up again in my heat box, stuff like that.
Whereas CO2, at some point, it's going to run out.
I'm going to have to empty it. I might use 2 or 3 shots from a mag, and I'm going to go, right, I'm going to have to empty that now.
Fully empty it, swap it out.
Empty it, new shell. Gets expensive.
Gets expensive after a while. So as we were saying with with the green gas and the 2.8s, the Onyx, we recommend the G&G 2.8s. I did a little bit of a test shooting, and we had the Razor 2.8s, and that absolutely ate them up. Absolutely love them. And again, included in the box, obviously I've got one of the little boxes down here. This is for one of the pistols. Obviously I won't bring the rifle one up because you can imagine how large it is, but every single Bolster Armories platform comes with a para case with its own little logo on it. They are pre-cut out inside, so you don't have to do that yourself. There's 2 magazines in here for the high cappers, and I think we're adding 2 EPM ones.
2 EPM ones in there.
So that's are they 250 rounds
250
each? So
round,
again, a lot of people are going to comment on the budget of these, but again, you get this out of the box and there is nothing to do.
So you're getting 2 EPM ones, you're getting the PTS suppressor flash hider,
which isn't on this one, but it is on the one behind you, so it's the slightly different.
That is the old PTS one. That's the original one before they changed the shape and design
of it.
Yeah, there's the 40 shift small front grip as well. That's in there. And also you get your recommended battery as well, which comes with it as well. Which is
so in there you get a little. That's still in the bag, just to keep it all that's safe. And all this is pre-cut out. So again, this is it. Sort of all comes back to that thing of this is coming out the box. And just you plug a battery in and you are good to go.
And go.
You can, with the 2 mags, 250 round mags in each EPM one, you're going to be fine for a game day. You're going to have a ton of fun. I mean, I was running around in Halo just shooting at targets, and it's very weird having such confidence in a platform that it's going to hit a target and then move off. It took a long time to get used to that when you have something built. We have another viewer question, so we'll go to them again. Mr. G, any shorter CQB rifles? So the shortest one at the moment is the SBR. So this is the shortest one. Obviously, it does have the device on the front of it, but again, it is QD, so you can click that off. So again, it will just come to a very short platform. But after we put a few comments up and some photos up online, there was a comment that I saw from a friend of mine saying, would you do an LMG? Or are there plans, if this goes well, are there plans, or would you want to do anything different?
Yeah. I mean, we're open to what... This is one thing we've done. We want to put a product out there that airsofters can be reliant on, what's the word? Confident, that's it. Be confident having. And I know this is our first product launch with it, but hand on heart, we've put everything into this, and we want it to be perfect for the player. And if that goes well, we're open to smaller SMGs. We're open to LMGs. We are open to,
because I know the rate of fire on this one. Obviously, this is the prototype one. I didn't want to start putting batteries and stuff in one that someone might get their hands on. But this has been built to be exactly the same as then, and this is kicking out about 22 rounds a second. 25 rounds a second.
25 rounds.
But yeah, it's even with the EPNs, it didn't.
It's hitting 70 metres. Well, that's as long as our range goes at patrol base. So it's hitting straight at 70 metres.
But yeah, very, very impressed with them. We've got more questions coming in, so we'll have another viewer question. Paul Eastwood, would you recommend using a more expensive mags rather than the cheaper ones for the AR platforms? This comes down to what's in the box. Everything, speaking to these guys before and afterwards, the items that are included in the box are the ones that you recommend.
We recommend, yeah. There are other mags. We've tried the new Lonex mags that have just come out. They feed very well. And so the EPEN ones, the normal PTS ones, we know the Lonex are fine, but that's as far as we've gone with that. We wanted to stick with the PTS.
Yeah,
it's more
and they look neat as well.
Oh, they look nice. Yeah,
a lot of this comes down to it's got
it's got to look
perform nice, but it's got to look pretty as well.
Yeah.
So again, if you get 2 EPM ones with it, and then you're going to start getting other mags and
I will say with that, if you start going off brand or off variety.
Yeah,
mags
your
cheaper,
recommendation will be go back to your standard brand.
Is
it still making the
does
same?
Does it feed? Are you using the mags we've recommended, and so on?
So it would be a case of if you want to use different mags with it, try it, but don't get loads of them. Just try that.
If your friend's got one, try it. And
then. So when it comes to this could be the high cappers or the Onyx itself. I had something very, very similar to this built about 7-ish years ago. I think the Gate Titan was pretty much a new MOSFET at the time. So technology-wise, I mean, I'm not too au fait with high cappers, but technology-wise, what has advanced in that time? Because like the Warhead motor is something I'd not heard of until you were talking about putting it in this. And same with the high cappers. I don't know what technology has sort of brought this sort of beyond previous builds.
The Gate Titan, pretty much. I'd say they haven't extended it much further than when they first brought it. They've got that platform. They know it works. The only things that they've just added to it is a Bluetooth section and things like that for more accessibility to it.
So they've widened the spectrum around and tried to make it better. There's probably technology improvements internally, but it's still doing the same thing.
Still doing the same thing, yes. Probably little tweaks, with code and things like that internally. I'm not a code person, so I won't pretend to know anything about that. But from that, it's always done what I wanted it to do, what I wanted out of a gun. Fast trigger response, that real field trigger with the pre-cock, and then the active braking for the quick response. And as I've said before, we tried various motors. I always went with the ASG 30K CNC. It has no patch on a Warhead Industries motor.
It's like we're not saying that the CNC is a bad motor at all.
No, not at all.
So
they're a very good motor.
It's been replaced, but it's still a very, very good motor.
It is. I mean, in some guns, I would use
definitely
it.
recommend it.
Definitely recommend it. But
the Warhead has just.
But if you're wanting just to go there, it's the next step.
Yeah.
It's the next step from having that the contact in the motor to something that's just pure electronic.
Yeah.
It stops, starts, amazing. The guys there, wonderful job.
And high cappers, can you see what's improved over the last few years that's sort of taken high cappers beyond even more?
Yeah, the ingenuity really from JLP and Cow especially. They've just been smashing out so many new parts, which are just like this Trident Sear Spring, which is in all the cappers. Just makes the trigger pull lovely, so light and smooth with that. Just the other parts as well from Cow, amazing. The fibre optic rods that they use, great, best fibre I've ever used.
But again, this has all come from that R&D over months and months and months. That you wouldn't have been able to say that 6 months, a year ago without putting that 100,000 rounds through it. Same with that, with your experience doing the IPSC stuff. All that experience comes together to try and get the best platform out the box that you can do. So, as we've said previously, people are getting a platform going, what can I do to it? Nothing. Plug it in and play with it.
Plug it in and just enjoy your day.
Yeah.
And know that if anything, unfortunately, ever does happen, which, like I said, I can't say that something might not.
Yeah.
Because
we've had Titans fail. You've had anything can happen.
Anything can happen, but this is why we've got the 24 months in place for you, because you can then know in confidence, you can get back in touch with us straight away, and you'll be straight in contact with me or Jake. We'll troubleshoot you, and if it needs to come back, it'll just be straight back, and we will deal with it for you.
Yeah. And it is a manufacturer, because obviously you've built it. It's a manufacturer warranty, so if something is faulty, it will get swapped and returned to you.
Yeah.
Completely free. Yeah. And that's all the way to 24 months or 200,000 rounds, which we've explained. We have more questions coming in, so we'll go to another viewer question. Clockwork, 25 RPS on what? 11.1 or 7.4?
11.1 20C.
Yes. So again, inside the box, as we said earlier, everything inside the box is what is recommended and is these platforms are tuned to.
Yeah.
So it's an 11.1 volt 20C LiPo battery, and not only is it 25 rounds a second, it's quiet. Yes. I think that's what I noticed. Normally you get, say, DSG builds that are sort of creeping up to that 30, and they sound like a duck getting strangled, and you can hear it miles away. But I did notice that this thing is just smooth and silent.
That comes down to the motor as well.
The motor and the gears, all being meshed
correctly,
really, really nicely. So we have covered an absolute chunk there. So what we'll do is we'll take a very short break. If we've missed anything, please drop your comments down below, and we'll queue them up and make sure that we get them on the way back. But we will be back in about 15 minutes. But again, join us in a couple of minutes for a little bit more information about Bolster Armouries. We'll see you in a minute.
At Patrol Base, we believe every airsoft gun deserves a home. Even the ones that have been left battered and bruised. These guns don't need donations, they need homes. Visit our Boneyard section today, because you're not just getting an amazing deal, you're helping save an abandoned airsoft gun.
An AEG, or automatic electric gun, uses a battery-powered gearbox to fire a piston and eject a BB from the barrel. Most new players start with an AEG as they offer reliable performance all year round. Please note, not all AEGs come with a battery or charger. To find out, check the Package Includes section in the product description.
Don't fall short on your next airsoft game. Stock up your airsoft supplies at Patrol Base and enjoy our generous bulk buy discounts. Shop now.
This is Billy. Billy wants to buy a new airsoft gun. He seems to have his eye on the Tokyo Marui Scar L. Is that right? But Billy's seen the price. Is that a bit out of your price range, Billy? Well, not to worry, because Patrol Base has many finance options available. From interest-free finance to buy now, pay later, we can find an option right for you. In store, our staff can talk you through the options, and using our handy portal, you can fill out all the details needed. If you can't make it to our store, you can take advantage of all of our finance options online. Simply complete your basket, and in the payment options, select the finance option that best suits you. If you're having any trouble, our helpful customer service staff are just a phone call away. So what are you waiting for? Visit Patrol Base today. For full terms and conditions, please visit patrolbase.co.uk/Klarna-payments.
Gas blowback, or GBB, is a system most common in gas pistols and requires more maintenance than AEGs. With pistols, the replica uses some of its gas to propel the slide back, cocking the weapon and imitating its real-life counterpart. With rifles, the extra gas is used to fire the bolt back. Because these parts are moving, it is recommended the contact points are kept lubricated with silicone oil. MOLLE, which stands for Modular Lightweight Load Carrying Equipment, is a universal attachment system across clothing and tactical equipment, for example chest rigs, pouches, backpacks and more. Two main styles exist, one being the traditional loop and the other the more contemporary laser cut, which is lower profile. Both are interchangeable.
Hey guys, it's January. Everyone's miserable and you're looking to save some money. Well, why not check out our muzzle flash sale? Let's take a look at what we got. How about this? The limited edition Chiappa Rhino with its funky two-tone colour scheme, save £50. Or this, the brand new Rotex 5 suppressor from ASG, available in 3 different lengths and 3 different colours, save £5. Or how about this? The ASG CZ Shadow in Urban Grey, save £26. And then there's this, the Nuprol Boccarail Series 3 9-inch in bronze, save £37. And who can forget the Evolution Recon S EMR with its programmable electronic trigger unit, save £50. These and many more deals can be found on our website at patrolbase.co.uk, but act now because they won't be there forever. Just look for the Airsoft offers section and click on the muzzle flash sale.
Morning, ladies and gents. I'm Stuart from Patrol Base.
I'm Pete, and this is Mike. We're from Patrol Base.
Hi, I'm Sam from Patrol Base.
Now, my daddy didn't teach me nothing about much. But he told me that your AEG is either working hard or hardly working. With our wide range of AEG replacement and upgrade parts, you can give your AEG the TLC it deserves. You would have made Daddy proud.
Welcome back. So we've had a little break. We've got a few questions. The comment section is absolutely out of control, so we will leave you to that. But we do have some questions lined up from viewers, so we'll go straight to them. Jimmy Davidson, on the Onyx, can I ask you why you went with the Pro Win instead of something like the Max or the Retro Arms? I believe he's on about the hop system.
Yes, with the Pro Win, we went for it. What we found was we got more FPS out of the Max. It gave us 10 FPS, but the spread was wider at a longer range. So when we tried the Pro Win with the hop setup that we have, the grouping came down to probably, I think it was about 200, and that's like 68 centimetres.
Yeah, so you did get more power out of the Max, but you lost accuracy?
But we lost accuracy.
Right.
So we went with accuracy over power.
Yeah, because power can be changed elsewhere.
Yeah,
makes sense. Another viewer question. Ragnar TTV. Can't find Bolster Armories on Google or YouTube. What's their background? They will spread their tendrils very slowly because everything has been released and announced today. But this is Bolster Armories.
Yep.
And this is their creation. So any information that you want to know about Bolster Armories is currently on the website now. There's a landing page with everything. A lot of the script has been put together by these guys just so that you can get all the accurate information, because obviously these things hitting the website now, it'll be all over, hopefully over social media, people commenting X and Y. So budget-wise is going to be the hot topic at the moment, because they are eye-watering, but there's a reason behind that. The warranty's one thing, but I think if you wanted to... So, 1,400.
Yeah, 1,400 quid. Yes, I will say it is an eye-watering amount. I'm not going to back away from that.
Yes.
If
they could be less,
if they could be less, I would have them less. I am an airsofter. I like airsoft things, and I would like everyone to have them. But for someone actually to go out and buy just the parts themselves, they're going to be looking at around 1,600, and that's not having someone put it together.
That's just a pile of bits. That's
just a pile of bits in your hands. That's not having someone build it. That's not having all the Cerakote on there.
Yes, we've not actually covered that. So on this one, the stock tube out of barrel, you might be able to see it better on the one behind you. But yes, so there's Cerakoting, the moonstone's been Cerakoted, and things like that. So the warranty, the ability to return and get things sorted, rather than having a pile of bits that is a lot more.
Everything's been tweaked. Everything's been tweaked and tuned and done. And if anything goes, obviously we will sort it.
So if you're putting it together,
but if you've got a part, you go and spend £600 on a pile of airsoft parts. Yes, try and build it up. By all means, I'm not stopping you. The hobby's great. Learn how to do it. I'm not stopping you doing that. And if you're very capable of doing it,
because again, that's probably part of it as well. There are people that are quite capable of doing this themselves. There's many techs out there. There's many competent people, but not out of the box to get one yourself. There's a lot of people like VSRs and things like that. There are people infinitely capable of putting them together. There are players, young players starting out, and they'll play for a few years and then they go, I want the best, but I don't know how to do it.
It's there.
It's done.
The care's there, and we want to look after it.
And hopefully, if one of these ever gets put in your hand and you use it, you'll go, yeah, that's why.
Yeah, and this is where I hope that my particular gun, I'll be sending it to the proving grounds again. I think Jake's going to take it this Sunday again. So
if you are
if
at
anyone
proving
wants
grounds,
to have a go,
just come find me.
Come find Jake. He'll pass this on to you, and then you can disappear into the woodlands and never be seen again.
Please bring it back.
I'll give you a mag. Go have fun.
Yeah.
So we touched on the green gas earlier, and there was a thing about we didn't quite cover CO2 whether or not to use it. So we said why that you don't use it, but why you're recommending definitely don't use CO2 on these. Stick to that black gas because it's going to be good enough.
It's what I know.
Right.
It's just what I know. I've always stuck by green gas mags just because it's just easier. CO2 can be a bit finicky in summer, especially when it gets really hot. Your power, I don't know what your power will be. You're running a plastic nozzle still. You're running the CL Project Design nozzle. It's a fantastic nozzle. It's really, really strong, but I don't know how long it's going to last on CO2.
Makes sense.
So I can't guarantee it'll last, 2 years on CO2, but I can guarantee on
green gas
or Force V12 3.0 it's going to last. I've had one in my HPA high kappa at about 130 psi, and I was getting like 400 FPS. Not a problem.
Makes sense. So again, that's someone asked earlier, and it was just clarifying why not to use CO2. I'd stick to the green gas. But there's more viewer questions coming in. Tom 2K, this is gonna make you cry. Can we two-tone it?
Yes.
Yes.
All the ones can be two-toned.
Anything can be two-toned. Obviously, with these it will pain Mark to paint them because he is obviously in charge of two-toning and things like that. It will pain Jake to paint this, probably. Especially that one. We were chatting about the Moonstone. So this is the limited edition Moonstone, specifically wise. There's only one of them, and it's been 4 years since you've been able to get these parts in the same configuration. It's been Cerakoted. The Cerakoting matching colour has been done incredibly well. And it's one of a kind for now, but if you want to do that, you might have to wait 4 years again for the...
if they ever release them again.
Yeah.
There's no guarantee that Airsoft Masterpiece will be able to remake them for whatever reason. It's just it's a beautiful cap. I'd have that one if I could. So
again, that comes down to Airsoft in general, things getting made in runs. So if you are waiting for something to come back, there is a prime example of things get made in sort of batches. And if you're waiting for something to come back, it might be years. Very extreme. But it might be years.
Yes.
So we've got another viewer question, so we'll jump to that. Ragnar TTV again. Why did they not go for the VFS quick change spring system like the KWA Mod 1 or Evo? Would have been perfect dream all put together. So the Crytek system is not quick change spring. Is there a reason why you've not...
Well, it's enter and convert.
It's enter and convert. So...
With our platform, you will not need to go in to change that. Because all the powers and all the settings and all everything we've done for it is set for that particular 300 and.
So this comes back to that warranty thing. You've built this
to run
on 2.8 at this power at an incredible sort of consistency and reliability. If the more options you give a player to start tweaking things, so even the warranty covers MOSFET adjustments and things like that. If you reset your round count or anything like that, it is going to damage your warranty. If we gave more options to tweak things, it's another thing that could mess with the warranty. And we want to give that warranty.
Yeah, we want to give it, so it will. So taking it sounds really bad, but taking that sort of option away. Stops
or temptation,
because everyone gets the temptation. It just stops there ever been an issue there.
And I think that comes with, we've not actually mentioned it. The FPS on these is on a 2.8. It is 5 or 6 FPS under the limit. It's on there. So again, it might be because he wants to just tune it to the point where it's knocking on the door.
285.
So these are on the door already. So again. Having to adjust your FPS is not going to be necessary. These are built to a standard that is as good as you're going to ever want it. Another viewer question in Quick and Quick. Thank you for the response. And how many of the RIFS are in stock? So we did say the Moonstone, there was only one.
Yes.
So that's the limited. There's 2 Moonstones. There's one super limited edition. And the rest are there's a few of them. I think there's 5 of each of the rifles currently, and again down the line we hope to add to either the quantity or the range of them.
Yes.
I know a mate of mine is very, after seeing what that's capable of, he's very interested in an LMG. Again, we've covered the warranty a couple of times. So consumable parts is going to be the sort of big caveat with thing. What have you listed? So consumable parts, are they covered in the warranty, and what are they? So a lot of people, they'll get them, and what can they come back to us and say? Oh, my hot rubber's torn, or
so consumable parts. We have hop rubbers, O-rings. We've got what else we've got in there? We've got the piston. We said the. I think I've actually. Could I just have the list?
I think we actually have it. Don't we?
Have the list,
I mentioned it earlier, and then I've completely thrown you off. So yeah,
you have to throw me off.
Hot rubber. So consumable parts, hot rubber motor, gears, piston head and cylinder, and the loading nozzle.
Yeah, so it's any part in the gun that's taking any wear. Basically, it'll take any wear and tear.
Yeah. But again, when it comes to that warranty that we're offering, if something tears, like the hot rubber tears or like that, and then we get it back and it looks like its manufacturer, we're quite happy to.
I'll just change it. Yeah,
we'll just change it,
and
it's going to be fine.
Yeah.
Again, this whole idea of this is to give you the best experience from getting this out of a box, putting rounds down range. God forbid there is a problem, you have pretty much a personal service to get this thing back to you as quickly as possible before your next game, if it's possible, and make sure you're happy with it. You are putting a lot into it, and we want to put a lot back at you. So again, the R&D thing, we're on about like the motor and things like that. Putting that hundreds of thousands of rounds through something. Yeah. A lot of people might think, is that possible with a capper? So with the AEGs, you can put BBs in it, you can shoot it, and you can done with it. Obviously, people that are going to go with cappers, there is a little bit more maintenance and things like that. So the R&D part of it, how are these going to be quite easily sort of serviced and stuff by the end user? At what point should they be like calling you going, what do I actually need to sort of return if this isn't quite right?
Maintenance wise on the high cappers is slide off, barrel out, guide rod out, give it a clean, wipe down with the cloth, sort of microfiber rag sort of thing. Clean it all out, bit of degreaser, get all any little bits of mud or whatever, could be from whatever you're doing.
Yeah.
Clean it all out. Silicone oil. Don't use grease. There's no point in using grease. Silicone oil, silicone spray on the piston head, on your rails of your frame. If you need the frame cleaning, that's something I'd suggest getting in contact for. Use your service, use your free service, or we can do the service for you if it's not a free one, just to make it run as best we can. And if you are coming for a service, we'll check everything. There's no point in just doing a little bit, we'll do everything.
Yeah, so again, that comes back that first 6 months. So
yeah.
IPSC shooters, they probably do quite a lot of training as well as the actual running. So again, use that free service that you've got, do all your training, shoot as much as you want, put it in for a service before you go to a comp or something.
I would say though, with the cappers, if you're not confident in doing that particular service on it, please get in touch with us. We'll be there.
Yeah.
We're going to be
phone
one-on-one.
number, email. Again, it's in your service book.
Yeah.
I've just checked, all them consumable parts are covered for free. So again, all that information's in here, trying to get as much information out there as we can, but we do want to be accurate with it. So there's a full covering page there of what is covered, and all the consumable parts are free. Which is an incredible warranty. But yeah, we've got another viewer question coming in, so we'll jump to that. Ragnar, does it have a bolt cut-off feature, empty ammo? Does the Gate Titan USB link come with the RIF, despite not wanting the settings changing due to the warranty? But then his question comes off. So it doesn't have a bolt cut-off system.
No.
There were rumours many years ago that Gate were thinking of doing something like that, but again, it's not out yet. So the USB function and adjusting the settings.
We've purposely not put it in there. I will be honest. We've purposely not put it in there, again, to stop temptation to do that. to change the settings. We have set all the pre-cocking, all your active braking, all your rate, everything in there is set for it to perform at where it needs to, its peak performance.
The ability to adjust a MOSFET is so that it can fit into different gearboxes and tune it to that thing. It's already been done.
It's already been done, yeah.
This gearbox and this MOSFET are tuned together. And again, each individual one will be slightly different. So, again, you've got that one out, you've tested it, you've FPS tested it, you've not just set every Titan the same.
No, we haven't, no. Each one has been tuned for each particular rifle, so the pre-cocking might be slightly different on some to the others, just to where the piston sits and things like that. So, every single rifle has been tuned separately.
Yeah, but very good question. We've got another question, so we will jump to another viewer question. James Brintley, is Bolster Armouries thinking of doing GBB rifles in the future? So this is probably more on Jake, because I think your 3-gun thing you do, it's high kappa, MWS and Cam 870. So gas blowback.
I'd love to do gas blowback.
Yeah.
Probably based on the MWS system,
because it's
just the
best one. Yeah.
That's what I run. I run a custom MTR with different rail, different barrel, bolt, hammer assembler, and it's been amazing.
And again, sort of from your perspective, a lot of people, like before this happened, before you started putting this together, you probably had an idea of, I've got an AEG, what do I want it to be? How do I improve that AEG? So put that into the MWS. Obviously, you've probably not done that much R&D on it, but with your experience, what you've done to yours, what would a Bolster Armouries MWS look like?
It'd be beautiful. It would be beautiful.
It'd be glamorous.
It'd be beautiful. I'd love to have UBR stock, all sort of stuff, which is just to make it stand out. But then you've got your internal stuff like your Crazy Jet barrel is perfect for the gas stuff. The 9-ball hot rubbers, the Maple Leaf hot rubbers, the Angry Gun parts are fantastic as well, like the bolt carriers, the nozzles, hammer sets. GMP do a great trigger system as well. That's really good for this dropping if you're not confident in working inside like the trigger block. But the DP also do a good trigger. It's nice and snapper. And I'm hoping there'll be more springs available soon, because it's still quite a new system really in the grand scheme of things.
But you can always see a platform like that has potential. You can always see how rapidly parts become available for it, and that's what really happened with the MWS.
Same with the AP as well.
APS. I mean, the Cam 870 is just, it's what it is. I mean, you could trick it out again, probably like you've done, to be a bit more 3-shootery.
Mine was
more tube,
built by the guys at APS. It's the it's got the 3-gun receiver. It's got a 26-inch barrel. I think it's a 13 plus mag tube as well. Real
excessive
hug,
for a shotgun.
Real hug furniture. Real hug furniture on it. It's Vortex stickers the lot. And it's all opened up on the loading port for easier loading, just to make it as accurate to a real shotgun.
I can hear people in the comments. I can't see them. I can hear in the comments saying, "Can we sit down with Jake's stuff now and just
I can bring one day.
we'll organise that as a sit down with a 3-gun person." But if there's any final questions, please drop them in. So we've covered absolutely tons of this, and we hope we've kind of gushed enough of these to warrant what they are. But these are designed specifically to do a certain job, especially the high cappers, but they're not limited to that. You've like you've said, you can run around outdoors with these. You can throw a high cap or a drum mag HPA tapped thing in there. Airsoft is played how you want to play it. This is an option for how you want to play it. If you want to get something, get it out of the box and have what we believe is probably the best out the box AEG out there. People will have other preferences, whether or not it's recoil or all like that. But again, this is the first of hopefully many, and you have to start somewhere. But it's been a pleasure to talk to you. Okay. It's been a pleasure to talk to you guys. We do hope you like this new setup, and we hope to invite new guests very, very soon. Maybe we'll have Jake back on with all of his toys.
I need a few gun racks.
We'll have way more gun racks. I've seen just his pistol case, and it's upsetting how pretty it is. So you think these are pretty? if we see Jake's pistol case, that'll be very, very impressive. But as always, it's been a pleasure. Thanks to Mark and Jake for joining us.
Cheers, guys.
If there is anything that you want to know about Bolster Armouries, please drop us a message on Instagram. We will point you in the right direction. But there is a absolute mass of information on the website right now. Every single description has been gone through with a fine-tooth comb. Our in-house writer has done an absolute stand-up job, and it is very, very cool. But I really want to get everyone to just try this on a range or something, just to see what it does. But as a pleasure, it's always been a pleasure, and we'll be back again later this week for another normal live stream. But until then, I'll see you in a bit.